Hey there, Boots Owen here. This is a Zanussi washing machine. It's a ZWJ14591W. It's got really bad bearings. If you can hear that, you can see, maybe you can see, it's got about half an inch up and down play there. It's pretty grotty inside, but that's a separate issue. I'm going to see about getting it apart. I'm going to see if we can have a look at the bearings. That's the first part of the process. If they look like they'll be replaceable, if it looks like the shaft's okay and all that, then we'll order some new ones and stick them in. For now, I'm just going in with no real plan on this one, and we'll just try and get it apart and have a look. The other telltale sign, apart from the obvious noise, is up on top here. If you could take a look in here at the back, there's brown streaking, brown staining all around. That's from the water being thrown out of the rusty bearings. So without further messing around, I'm just going to have to start on it, I guess, and take the front off and as much of the stuff on top as possible, and then get into it. I think everything's got to come off, ultimately. This little plastic tab in there to clip it out, that's it. This hopefully will unfold or something. I don't really want to disconnect it if I don't have to. So that's that soap drawer out, a couple of screws here. Interlock, I might just be able to unclip that. No screws down there, sometimes there's screws underneath. Next is this door seal. Somewhere here there should be a spring or a something to release this somehow. There's a toothed mechanism like this, but well, I don't know, it didn't really come apart there. It's apart now, it'll need a bit of a clean. Gets the door seal off, hopefully. Or not, it's so stuck on. There we go. That's not been off in 20 years or whatever age this machine is. Apparently this machine was owned by the same family from new. In here there should be wires going to a clip. Is it easier just to take that off? It might be. Just take that off, it's easier. Just pulls out and there's a hose on the inside to clip off. That's off, okay. What holds it on at the bottom? There's 3 screws on the bottom, make life difficult. Now, does this come off now? Very good, we're getting in there. Massive torque screws there. So pump is in here. There's an inverter drive board for an inverter motor over there, or some kind of a 3-phase motor. There's a second pump at the back for recirculating water into the top of the door. It should be easy enough to get to though. What else do I need to do? Probably need to take the belt off the back. I guess I need to take the motor and all that stuff off. Although, I'm wondering, looking at it here, I think if I take the ballast off the front, I should be able to get to the screws all around and just pull the front off like that, and then take the back off and do the bearings with the back of the machine in situ. That would suit me a lot better. Maybe that's what we'll try. So this rear panel just had 5 screws holding it on, and now it should pop off. Don't really know what I'm doing here, but yeah, there we go. They're kind of snapped in as well as screwed on. There we go. Oh, we can see the extent of the moisture there. That's pretty wet. Okay. Pretty dirty rather than wet. Let's get the belt off. Take off this pulley. Might need a bigger spanner or something here. I might not. A socket, I mean. I might need a socket. Oh dear. Nearly lost it. The magic of television. Right. You can see it put a bit of wear on the plastic there, but it's out now. Here we are. Very flat head on that nut, or that bolt. Here. Have a look. It's about half the thickness of the usual ones. Come on, there we go. Very thin. Right, well, let's just come off. No, there's a bit of wear up here, all around actually, so it looks like the belt was, well, actually that could be from the, yeah, there's wear in here and here, so it looks like when it's under load, it's getting pulled off its center. Right, there we go. Oh, this is, oh, completely fucked. Yikes. that'll be fun to look at. I'm gonna pull this guy off because this hose is holding it on and it's crimped on up here, and I don't want to, it's easier to take it off this way than to do it any other way. Hold that spring in there, grab this fellow, pull it off. In fact, it might be worth, well, I can't really with this thing. I wonder if I could unclip that might be possible. No, the hose is still attached on top. Oh, it's got a crimp-on hose clip. It would be nice to scrub this and give that a proper wash, because that's proper mouldy, but if people have a machine that's mouldy, that's how they live, so it doesn't really matter if I change it. I don't know if I needed to loosen this one down, but I did. I've taken out the 5 screws. They were T50 Torx, which is quite big, and this might be tricky because the way they fit. Maybe it'll come off. Yeah, looks like we're coming. Bit of persuasion. The issue as well is that the ring is quite heavy when it comes off. They've got steel inserts, so that's helping it out. There we go, half off. Okay, that's the trickiest bit because it's heavy. So then, a load of M10 is it, or M8? M8. The bearings collapsed out of the back of the machine. Oh dear, right, I really need an extension on here. Make an extension out of bits. Now, there's a hose attached on the front, which I'm going to have to take off. There's a hose in here, it has to be pulled out, and it's held on somehow. A screw from behind by the looks of things. Very cleverly held that on from behind. Got it coming at it from behind maybe. Okay, it's that screw there inside. This machine stinks. The more I'm on it, the more it stinks. So that's the drawer down. It's relatively clean inside, what can you say? But the top is quite sludgy, so I might take that out and give it a scrub. So this is the bearing race there on the tip of my finger. That's the oil seal that's completely snazzed up. That's a word. We'll try and get the drum out by pulling, which is how you should do it. Let's see if it comes. Looks like it might be moving a bit. Appears to be moving a little bit. Got the big copper hammer to hold it from the other side. Oh, bearings are falling out. Broken bearings are falling out. See, it could be that the other bearing is moving. It is moving. Because it's copper, it's not damaging the shaft as well. stuff to hit here. I don't know what's going on. I think the inner bearing is coming with it. I've got my soft leather hammer side. Trying to hit it sideways on with the hammer, but I'm just damaging the hammer. I'm back with a lump hammer and a small copper hammer. Now you're not really meant to hit a hammer with a hammer, so you really want to wear glasses. I don't really feel like it's moving. You've got to remember as well, like, this is all plastic. You're hitting it pretty hard. Uh-oh, are you moving at all? It's definitely gone in. It's definitely loose. Oh, a proper horror show. Something's moving. As if anything, just to give me a break. Go. Come on. So hard to say, but a lot of them have split in two. We'll look at them later. Really split in two. It is moving. Oh, there's something coming out, another oil seal. We've moved it about 3 inches or more. I've got a little bit of copper pipe, just an offcut, and that might do as a drift. We'll see. Might just fold up as the issue, but well, we'll try it. It's easier than going outside to find something else. I think it's moving. I've got a half inner bearing race there come out. I think that's it. And another bearing race. Both bearing races are split. Are we done? Yes, we're done. That was easy. Bit of copper pipe was the answer. Very good. Yeah, it's a bit ropey looking. Shaft looks pretty good though. Bearing race there is razor sharp. So I'll begin to get these bearings out by driving them out with a big drift. It's a big solid piece of 1-inch bar and the hammer. We'll see if it comes out. You might be able to see it, and then I'll do the other ones from the other side. Hoping I can get a grip on it. Is it moving? You can see, I can't see. Yes, it's coming out. Excellent. That's one bearing. Put the bar in there, up against the bearing. Then the top side. Bearings out. Yes! That's the outer one there. Nothing left in it. That's the inner one, and there's the bearings from that. The whole thing's dog's dinnered. I've got to clean this up a bit and see what I can see. So what happens is, the water seal goes, or the bearing goes, then the water seal goes. When the water seal goes, you get this leak out, and then the bearings get rustier and worse. It goes on and on. But the outer races are good. Hopefully the shaft is alright. There should be a drain hole in there, but I don't know if it's working or not, but maybe it is. Yeah, that looks like it'll go back together on this end. Inside in the machine, trapped around the element was a brow underwire. And then here on the shaft, you can see this. We've got part of the bearing race, sharp as can be. Bit rusty there. I don't know. I'll have to figure this out now. There's a bearing, the outer seal of a bearing, the inner seal, I don't know which one it is. There's a bit of bearing stuck on there. Look at that. That's a bit of steel from the bearing race, and it's razor sharp. And then there's the water seal here, which is a bit fucked. clearly, but I'll get a number off it, I hope. Yeah, it's got numbers on it. So these are pretty generic, but the issue is now if the shaft is so rusty, you could put this on, but it'll continue to leak. Hard to know. We'll have a look at the shaft. That's where one bearing runs on. This is where the other bearing runs on, and they're both okay. We won't really know until we get a new bearing on it. The brass ring where the water seal runs on, it's okay. Spider's generally okay. So I think we can get the parts and do a rebuild. I expect through the magic of the internet, you'll come in the future, and this will be, you know, there'll be bearings here. I've got the bearings in the freezer. They came in the post. So I just want to clean this up. I don't know what to do about all the dirt all around. I don't really see the point in cleaning it. I put WD-40 on this last week, and that's good enough, I think. It's a bit sharp in there. The bearing seats are pretty clean, which is good. There should be a hole somewhere now to take water away, and I don't see one. There's a bit of dirt up here, but well, there's a bit of sludge in there. Ugh, that's gross. Made a popping noise on my finger. I think a boil wash would be in order for this. So that's it now. It all looks really clean. What you would normally do is heat up the outer, like the place the bearings go into, but there's no way to do that in this case because you could put a bit of heat on it, maybe with a hairdryer or something, but the reality is that it's better to put the bearings in the freezer. If this was cast iron, I might heat it up with a flame or something, but it's just a washing machine, so they should go in, and they should be nicely greased from the WD-40 and all, and it's really quite clean. I expected there to be a drain hole somewhere in here at the bottom behind the first race, or behind the water seal even, and there doesn't seem to be anything, so there. Alright, let's have a look at these bearings then. So these are the new bearings, 6307 and 6306, inner and outer, and that's what new bearings look like, clean and beautiful like that. The bearings that came out look like this, and these are just chaos. So, you know, everything just fell apart there. The inner race is completely cracked and damaged. The outer races, you know, are okay, but pitted and badly damaged. Here's the new seal. I think the bearings and the seal together cost 30 quid from eBay. This looks more substantial. There's more substance on the center there, but a seal is a seal. And if it lasts anywhere near as long as the old one, it'll be okay. The number on it is 4780 11/12.5. So I don't want to talk too much because these are getting warm. So let's bring them over and fit them. Okay, new bearing, and I've got the old bearing outer race to use as a drift. So it looks like it might just slide in. I don't know. We'll see now. They're quite cold, so I've got gloves on. Yeah, that should be fine. So just so I don't damage the seal, I'll put this bearing race as a guide. About halfway there. You could use some kind of a pullers to pull it in. There's lots of things you could do. There we go, that's in. I'll spin it around to get the other one. A little bit trickier maybe because we've got to get right in here. You could grease it, but I didn't. Sometimes these will just press in gently by hand. I'm going to need to, I think, stand here and hit. So it might be in the way. Yeah. It's difficult to get access to it at all. Don't want to do is hit the sealing ring. We've got a long way to go yet. Might have gotten the old bearing race stuck in a little bit. Let's get a pincers on it. There it is. No, it's not stuck. Right, so I'll use the smaller bearing race to drive the rest of the way. I don't want to get it stuck again. I think we might be there. So how can I check if it's right? Go back around to the other side. So to check if it's in right, go down to the back and peep in. You should be able to see. I need a torch. So I can see, but the far bearing is up tight against the casting. So that's ideal. The next bit is the new water seal, and I could have put grease on that as I was putting it in, but I didn't. Maybe I should have. This is red rubber grease, and I'm going to put a smear of that all around. And that will just help it in without scraping it, hopefully. And on the inside of the ring as well. Just a little bit, really, not just enough to kind of wet it or something, some word like that. And put that in. That might just push in, yeah. I'm going to give that a little tap with the hammer. So I'll wipe this off here all around, because I don't want grease going into the machine, even though there's like dirt and all up above. I don't want grease in here for laundry. Right, so then drum back in. I've put some red rubber grease around that brass seal there, and I've wiped this clean. I'm only through the first bearing. I need to get it in through the second one. So if I was doing this with the whole drum out, I would tip it, put it on a piece of carpet and tip it down. But as it stands, well, I haven't really got that luxury because this is the way it is. So I need to kind of push it in, wiggle it and push it. Of course, I guess it doesn't help that the bearings are frozen, because it probably makes the inner race a bit smaller. You want to kind of push that in without damaging it. Yeah, famous last words. It's barely into the first race, like, so. Is that working? I want to be here today. The risk is that you bend this front lip, or you'd rather support it on the outer lip, you know, here and across, but you don't really have that luxury. That's moved it. Yeah, well, if it's working, it's working. It's hard on the hands. Uh-oh. I think I have damaged it. So that's no good. I think I've popped that in there. Look. Yeah, I'll have to pop that out again. Right. It is that simple though. I'll try tapping it on the rim. Whoa. Yeah, we're better again there. But that's hitting it's not going to do great work for it. You don't want to hit it in the center either, so you're kind of struggling here. So around on the back, it's in position and it's coming through, but it's not there yet. So you almost want a bit of a handle on it or something to pull it through and support it off here and here. Jack it up off there and there. I wonder would a bearing puller do it? I'd have a look in my boxes of tricks. So I've made up a hammer, slide hammer, out of a piece of ready rod or threaded rod that fits into the thread there, and I'm hoping I'm not going to strip it. We'll see. No, it's coming through if you watch here. Sounds like it. That worked very well. It took me a lot longer to figure out how to do it than to get it to come out. So now I've just got to crack on with this. We're nearly there. So let's get this fellow on. It's all a bit greasy, but I don't know that that really matters. Plastic pulleys I don't like. Torque that up until it's about right. Whatever that feels like to you. Let's get this belt back on the pulley first and then over the top. Sometimes these edges around here are very, very sharp, so beware. this belt is particularly tight, but that's okay. It's running quite close. I can always bring it out one more V on that pulley there. I'll bring it out a little bit. There we go. It's on. It's okay. Front tub back on. Check first that you haven't pinched the green rubber, or the whatever colour the rubber is that goes around. Just check it's not falling out and pinched, so that when you offer this up it doesn't come off and go squeezed and leak on you later on. So I won't put them all tight in, I'll put 2 or 3 around the edges. See how it lines up. And get the rest in. Got to get this fellow on from behind. Put on the drain hose first. Usually a ball sits down here. Where would that be? Right, that's that on. The bottom of that drain hose looks a bit pinched. I don't think twisting that tiny bit's going to make a difference, but I'll try. Next job is to get the door seal on. Just have to work the rubber over the lip. Spring one that's got to go on here then. Let's just work it around. That's it. That's on. Very good. So quite stupidly now I have put this on without putting the ballast ring on, and I can't take this fellow off. So either I take this off again, which I think is the simplest way, or I have to take something else off, and I don't know what that would be. So let's take it off again because the ballast ring needed to go on first. No. You can't get that on when the ballast ring is on, so I'm going to have to take the hose off down below somewhere. It's really hard to press that on because your fingers can't get inside the ballast ring. So this hose here, the ballast ring needs to go over that, and obviously it can't because it's a ring of ballast. So down in the back there is the end of this hose. There we go. Right. So ballast ring next. You could get that spring on, but it would be easier not to. I noticed that I pinched this black pressure hose in there, so I'm gonna try and get it out like this, but I don't have to take it all apart again because that would do my head in. I'm hoping I can kind of jimmy it apart, but it seems to be remarkably robust. And hopefully I haven't damaged it all to talk about pinching the other hose. No, I've put a big hole in it. Bollocks. Right, so that's not going to work. I have to fix that then. So what I would like is a little barb union or something like that. I've pinched a hole in it. Because it's got ribs on it, you can't really tape it up. What I think is I can get some of this plastic pipe into it, and it'll just be okay. It doesn't carry water. It's only a pressure hose, so it only carries like atmospheric air pressure. So I'll cut it in half, which is a shame. Tiny drop of spit on it. I'll try and roll this pipe into it a bit. Bit of a wiggle. It's just a shame. I hadn't spotted it. I was looking for something else when I was doing that. But that should work fine. As a repair. It's not ideal, but it's a repair. So the hose should have been clipped in here, but it wasn't, and that's why it got caught, I guess. And then back up there to the pressure sensor. And replace these cable ties that I had to cut. So I've got to get this front panel on. I think it just pushes into place, but I've got to get the door interlock on first. So I need to get this fellow down. suspect I could just push it into place now. So we have 3 screws to put on the bottom, not doing that yet. Let's get this door on. There's an arrow at the top where you line it up. You roll this in. Right, that's the seal on. Just sit in right. Put this guy on. Need to pull it together. This one's about as big as I have. That's it, I think that's where it was before. Door goes on, 2 screws. Ah, the plate's fallen off the back of the door now. Oh, no good. So really, I would need to take off this rubber again, but I also need to get the plate out. Stupid door seal has to come off again. Right, while I'm up, I've got 3 screws to put in underneath. So I've pulled off that door seal just around half of the way. This thing, it actually hooks in, so if you could have done that from below, then you'd be sorted, but I couldn't see it and didn't really know what I was at, so everything only takes a minute, but it's quite frustrating when you've done something and then you have to redo it. Now, don't knock it off again. Right, that's done. Back up on top then. So it's all back together again after all that. I'd say it took me, 3 or 4 hours to do, and a bit of waiting in between. Spin. Let's put it on to spin. Plugging it in is a good idea. I've come across that before. Let's plug it in first. Right, we're live. The lights come on. That's a start. Lights are on up here. 16 minutes, 1400. There was a lock on it. Right, press start. We're off. Pump's working, but there's no water in it. Is it going to turn? So it'll pump for a second, and then it should start spinning. And 16 minutes later, it should be done. There it is. It's turning. No noise whatsoever, and I haven't buckled that drum too much from clattering it. I should have used a slide hammer from the beginning. It's going one way. It sounds perfect. At this point, it would have been rumbling and rumbling before. So let's just wait until it spins. So 3 minutes in and speeding up nicely. It's really not making a single noise at all. It's pretty flash. It's nice when a job comes together. That's lovely and smooth. Right, I don't think there's much more to say. This machine's working just fine. I'm going to put it onto a 90-degree wash to clean out the inside. I'll put in a bit of bleach. I'll probably top it up with a bit more water maybe. I don't know. Wash some rags, let them slop around inside to clean out any residual oil or grease and crud that was in that tub there, because I wasn't able to power wash the back of it. What do you think? Is it worth doing? On this machine, I think this is a really nice one, you know. I think it was worth doing. Questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later.